revealed the incredible moment she discovered her husband's life-changing secret on her birthday. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow through their small kitchen window. Sarah, at 34, savored the comforting smell of spaghetti bubbling on the stove. It felt like a cozy hug, wrapping around her spirit as her two kids giggled over handmade birthday drawings plastered across the living room wall. Today was supposed to be special, a day to celebrate her amidst all the financial woes that clung to them like a shadow. Tom, her husband, was in the living room, his focus split between the kids and the crushing weight of his post-veteran life. He had recently lost his factory job, now juggling odd jobs to keep the family afloat while battling demons from his time in service. Sarah caught a glimpse of his tired eyes, fighting to stay bright, and her heart ached. She knew he wore his unfulfilled ambitions like a heavy coat, one he couldn't seem to shake off. As the laughter echoed and candles were lit, Sarah's heart swelled with hope. She longed for a moment where worries and responsibilities vanished, at least for just one night. But as she prepared to slice the cake, a soft knock interrupted their laughter. A package lay at the doorstep, plain brown with no return address. Sarah's fingers tingled as she opened it, curiosity coursing through her. Inside was a letter addressed to Tom, an invitation to a prestigious business competition that promised the world a golden ticket to a brighter future, their ticket out of this suffocating cycle. The initial rush of excitement curled her lips into a smile, but that soon twisted into confusion and hurt. Why had Tom kept this from her? The energy in the room thickened, laughter fading into an anxious silence. "Tom," she called, her voice trembling, "why didn't you tell me?" She was met with a stormy look, his expression caught between shame and defiance. Tom's mouth opened, then closed, and the weight of their unspoken fears hung between them. His loyalty battled against his ambitions, and as he searched for words, the atmosphere shifted. The kids, sensing the tension, began sharing funny family stories, nostalgic moments of support and love. Their innocent chatter cut through the mounting anxiety like a knife, reminding them of the strength they had forged together. Tom's heart raced as he listened to their kids' simple tales wrapped in warmth, prompting him to confront the reality that chasing this dream without Sarah by his side could fracture their bond. "I just wanted to protect you," he finally said, voice heavy with uncertainty. The moment hung, punctuated by the unsaid, thick with tension. They realized that dreams were never meant to exist in isolation, they were dreams for a family, too. As Sarah looked deeply into Tom's eyes, the intensity of their situation washed over her like a wave. They stood at a crossroads, the stakes monumentally high. "Tom, what if this changes everything?" she whispered, her heart pounding. The words lingered, filling the space with dread and hope, leaving them both breathless with questions about their future and the fragile threads of their love, hanging in the balance. The silence settled like a heavy fog, leaving them both grappling with their own thoughts. Tom's mind raced, caught in the storm between ambition and loyalty. He wasn't sure how to explain that every time he had considered sharing this opportunity, a little voice in his head had piped up, reminding him of their struggles. He wanted to shield Sarah from the burden of hope, that fragile thing that had so often let them down. "Protect me?" Sarah echoed incredulously. "This isn't a fragile dream, Tom. This is our chance." Her voice wavered, mixing anger and desperation. She could feel her heartbeat quicken, and with every word they exchanged, their kids' laughter faded further into the background. It was as if the universe conspired to force their gaze inward, funneling all their worries into that small kitchen. "I'm doing the best I can," Tom finally replied, his voice strained. "It's just, I see how hard you work for everything, and I didn't want to add more worry." His shoulders slumped. His spirit, once fighting to keep hope alive, felt depleted. Sarah stepped closer, her hand reaching for his, trembling ever so slightly. "But dreams don't thrive in silence, Tom. You should have let me in." We can face this together. The tension flickered in Tom's eyes as he thought of the long nights he had spent working through his pain. What if I can't do it? He whispered, the vulnerability washing over him like an unwelcome tide. What if I fail? You won't know until you try, Sarah insisted, her voice gaining strength. This isn't just about you anymore. We're a family. Your fears are our fears, and your dreams are ours too. At her words, something within Tom stirred. Maybe it was the shift in her tone, or maybe it was the truth in her eyes that gave him the courage to own his longing. This could be their escape, a chance to rewrite their story. The kids scampered over, unaware of the emotional upheaval, their small voices filled with innocence. Can we eat cake now, Mommy? It's my favorite. Emma, the youngest, clutched a piece of art she had made for Sarah, entranced by its red and purple doodles. Sarah's heart softened at the sight of their children, and she blinked back tears. Yes, we can have cake. A smile cracked across her face, though the storm inside her hadn't fully subsided. She turned to Tom, searching for reassurance. You're going to pursue it, aren't you? Tom looked at their children, the weight of their future resting on his shoulders. Each giggle reminded him of the reason he had fought so hard to provide them with stability and hope. I need to think about it. But I want you by my side. Sarah wrapped her arms around Tom, as the aroma of cake mingled with the fading sunlight. We'll figure it out together, she whispered, conviction replacing the doubt in her heart. But as the candles flickered and they gathered around the table, the reality of Tom's decision loomed like an uninvited guest. What lay ahead was uncertain, but among the cake and chaos, Sarah realized that they were on the brink of something bigger than themselves. Would Tom dare to take the leap? And could their love withstand the challenges that awaited them in the pursuit of a dream? The moment of truth felt imminent, and both of them could sense it, the fragile web of their lives teetering on the edge. In the midst of laughter, a single question hung in the air, heavy with consequence: what was the price of their dreams? As the last note of laughter faded and the candlelight danced, a quiet tension hung in the air. Tom's gaze wandered over the flickering flames, the hopes tied to each tiny, burning wick pressing against his chest like a weight. He felt Sarah's eyes on him, her unwavering support both comforting and daunting. Amidst the casual chaos of cake and celebration, his heart wrestled with itself. He owed it to them, this family, to at least consider the leap. But the fear swirled inside him, each more daunting than the last. What if the risks outweighed the rewards? What if he failed not only himself, but them? I'll do it, he heard himself say, the words leaving his mouth before he truly grasped the full weight of their meaning. A rush of adrenaline followed, a mix of pride and fright that tightened his stomach. Sarah smiled widely, her eyes sparkling like the ocean under the sun. Really? You mean it? Yeah. He nodded, more sure now. But it's going to take time. It won't happen overnight. Nothing worthwhile ever does, she replied, her hand squeezing his tightly. Their children cheered, oblivious to the depth of the moment. Emma's laughter broke through Tom's storm of thoughts. Just as the joyful noise enveloped them, Sarah leaned in closer, her voice low and rich with emotion. I believe in you, Tom. We'll face the challenges together. You won't be alone this time. The promise hung in the air, and for the first time in a long while, Tom allowed himself to breathe a little easier. With the flames casting soft shadows on their faces, the world seemed wide open, a canvas just waiting for their brushstrokes. As cake crumbs flew and the kids turned the table into their playground, the chaotic rhythm of family life resumed. In that moment, surrounded by love and noise, Tom felt an unfamiliar feeling bubble to the surface: hope. It felt light but grounded, like the first day of spring. But that flicker of optimism was swiftly interrupted. The phone buzzed on the kitchen counter, cutting through the laughter like a knife. It took a moment for Tom to register that it was from his old colleague, Mark. The thrill crested, filling him with expectation. Was this the sign that everything was finally shifting? He glanced at Sarah, who looked at him expectantly. For her, the hopes of a brighter future rested firmly on his shoulders. With a steadying breath, he crossed the kitchen and picked up the phone. "Hey, Mark," he said, trying to keep his voice steady even as his pulse quickened. "Tom. You'll want to hear this." Mark's voice crackled with excitement, a stark contrast to the warmth of the moment. "I'm in a position that might be perfect for you. It's risky, but..." Tom's heart raced. Risky. He could already see Sarah's face in his mind, that familiar mix of fear and determination. "What do you mean?" he asked, trying to gather all his scattered thoughts. "Let us meet up tomorrow. It's about that new project I mentioned last time at the bar. I think there is a space for you." If you wanted, the words hung in the air, ripe with promise and anxiety. A flame ignited in Tom's chest, but for every flicker of hope, a knot tightened in his stomach. Could he really go after it? And what would that mean for Sarah and the kids? Tom looked back at them, his beating heart nearly called out. How many dreams had they set aside for practicality? With uncertainty buzzing in his mind, he found himself grappling with a new question: was he ready to embrace the unknown, or would he let the chance slip through his fingers like grains of sand? "Tom." Mark's voice jolted him from his thoughts. The urgency was palpable. "Yeah, I'm here," he replied, his mind still racing. Tomorrow would bring answers. But the moment of truth was edging closer, and the stakes were rising with every heartbeat. How far would he go for the life they all dreamed of? Tom set the phone down, his hands still trembling as the weight of Mark's words sank in. He turned slowly and caught Sarah's gaze, and he could see the glimmer of hope mixed with the flicker of concern reflected in her eyes. Tonight, they celebrated, but tomorrow would push them to a precipice. His stomach twisted. Had he made the right choice? The thought gnawed at him, making him feel small in the grand scheme of everything they had built together. But there was no turning back now. He couldn't let fear win. "Everything okay?" Sarah asked, noticing the change in his demeanor. "Yeah, just things to think about," he managed to say, forcing a smile. He wrapped an arm around her shoulder and felt her lean into him, grounding him in the moment. In the corner, Emma and Lucas were pretending to be astronauts, launching themselves off the couch and into space, squeals of delight filling the air. In that chaos, Tom felt a warmth slowly creeping back. "Look at them," Sarah said softly, her eyes drifting to the kids. "They really don't know how lucky they are to have such an amazing dad." A swell of pride mixed with dread roared inside him. "But what if I can't deliver? What if the risk takes me away from them?" he admitted, the fear spilling out before he could stop it. Sarah turned to face him fully. "Tom, life is about risks. Remember when we decided to buy this house? That was a leap. But look at us, look at this family, we've made it work. We've been through worse." He nodded, absorbing her words like a lifeline. They had faced struggles, yes, life and money troubles, family health issues, but they had also celebrated victories. It reminded him that they were no strangers to hardships. "Maybe it is time to explore bigger dreams, huh?" she added, her voice a mix of encouragement and challenge. "You owe it to yourself. You owe it to all of us." The sincerity in her eyes sparked a fire deeper than any fear. Tom took a breath, feeling that flicker of hope again, wishing it to ignite into something more substantial. What would it feel like to finally pursue his passion? What if he could see his children look at him with admiration, proud of their father's courage? The images overwhelmed him with both dread and exhilaration. Let us talk more about it tonight, he said, his voice steadier now. I want to make sure we're both on the same page. Of course, she replied earnestly. And we can plan our budget too. I've been saving up for a rainy day, just in case. The spark in her words ignited his faith. As the night wore on, the lively chatter, the cake crumbs, the laughter all wove together like a warm blanket. But a shadow lingered. As Tom drifted into bed, his mind replayed Mark's words. What if tomorrow didn't go as planned? What if his heart led him down a path from which they could never turn back? He closed his eyes, trying to push away the doubts that thrummed louder with each heartbeat. Tomorrow loomed close, a doorway to something big. What if, when he opened that door, everything he had ever dreamed of lay waiting? Did he have the courage to walk through it, or would he back away and miss out on a chance that could change everything? And as sleep began to tug him away, questions danced just beyond his reach. What was waiting on the other side of that door? Would it be a new beginning or a new set of trials? The truth would unfold soon enough, but in that moment, all he could do was hold on to the hope that it might lead them closer to the life they envisioned together. Tomorrow would reveal all. Morning light filtered through the curtains, creeping onto Tom's face like a gentle nudge. He stirred awake, his thoughts immediately darting back to the conversation of the night before. Breathing deeply, he reminded himself today was the day, a moment when everything could change. He tossed the covers aside and slid out of bed, his heart pounding louder than usual. Today wasn't just another day, it was decision day. In the kitchen, the aroma of coffee percolated and mixed with the sweet scent of pancakes. Sarah was already up. She moved gracefully, flipping pancakes and humming a familiar tune. It felt like a scene from a movie, one that everything within him longed to hold on to. Morning, she greeted with a bright smile, as if she could feel the weight of what hung in the air around him. Morning, he responded, trying to match her enthusiasm, but his voice was a touch strained. Serving breakfast, she carried on cheerfully, sharing snippets of plans for the day. Emma wants to go to the park after breakfast. And Lucas wanted to fly the kite. Can you believe it's still flying in this wind? Her laughter rang through the kitchen and melted some of his tension. Sounds perfect, he said, grateful for normalcy, even just for a moment. But the heaviness in his heart remained. He needed to speak with her, to openly discuss the leap he wanted to take into the unknown. After breakfast, as Emma and Lucas scampered off to get ready for the park, Tom felt a mixture of excitement and anxiety bubbling inside him. There was no more time to waste. Can we talk? He asked, once they were alone again, his voice serious. Sure, what is on your mind? She turned to face him, sensing the change in him. He cleared his throat, gathering his thoughts but feeling the words catch like a lump in his throat. I want to talk to you about Mark's offer, the chance to pursue the project I've always dreamed about. Her eyes widened slightly, surprise mixing with a hint of worry. Oh. I didn't think you'd really consider it. I didn't either, he admitted, trembling slightly. But I can't shake the feeling that this could be the right time for me, for us. Sarah's brow furrowed, and Tom watched her process the sudden shift in their lives. This could mean a big change, Tom. Are you sure? I've thought about it all night. He took a step closer, finding the strength in her gaze. I know it's risky. I don't want to put our family in jeopardy. But the thought of not trying feels worse than failing at it. She was quiet for a moment, and he could almost hear her heartbeat echoing like a drum in the silence. What if it doesn't work out? What if we struggle? Her voice quivered with the fear of the unknown. I understand those risks, he said, reaching out and gripping her hands, feeling the warmth of her support. But think about what it could bring. If it works, we could take our lives to places we only dreamed of. With every word, he saw her walls come up, and then slowly start to fall. The hope of potential was there, glistening just beneath the surface of uncertainty. And you'd need my support, she nodded slowly, realizing the implications of what that would mean. It's a big decision, Tom. But we need to be all in. Together, he added, squeezing her hands. Just then, Emma and Lucas burst into the room like a whirlwind of energy. Come on, you guys. We are ready. They giggled and tugged at their parents' hands, eager to leave. For a moment, Tom felt a flicker of joy at the innocence of their children, reminding him of what truly mattered. Okay. Sarah laughed, breaking the tension. Let us go have our adventure. But as they gathered their things, Tom knew the real adventure lay in the decisions they were making, not just today, but for their future. And he felt a new determination settling within him. As they stepped outside, the wind welcomed them, inviting them into the embrace of the world. Today wasn't the end, it was just the beginning. Yet, as they headed towards the park filled with light and laughter, a different kind of question began to brew in Tom's mind. What other surprises awaited them, and were they ready to face whatever came next? The park buzzed with life as they arrived. Laughter echoed, and the bright sunlight seemed to make everything more vibrant. Tom watched as Emma and Lucas raced towards the swings, their joy infectious. For a fleeting moment, he felt a weight lifting, the worries of the day fading behind the laughter of his children. Sarah settled on a bench, her eyes glowing with warmth as she followed their kids. Tom took a moment to breathe, inhaling the sweet scent of blooming flowers mixed with cut grass. It felt like the perfect day, yet the conversation still lingered in the back of his mind. Hey! Sarah called out, motioning for him to join her. Come take a break from all that daydreaming. He approached her, unable to resist her inviting smile. Just enjoying the moment, he replied, scratching his head. It's nice to just be here. Yeah, it really is, she said, relaxing back against the bench. We should do this more often, just the four of us. No distractions. As the children swung higher, shouting their laughter, Tom's heart swelled. This was the life he wanted to build on. But the shadows of their conversation still cast doubts. What if taking that leap altered this beautiful scenery forever? Tom, Sarah began, breaking his reverie, you okay? She could always see through him, no matter how hard he tried to put on a brave face. Yeah, just thinking. He hesitated, and then pulled at his courage. I want to ensure that I'm making the right choice for us. That this isn't just a fantasy. We'll figure it out together, remember? She said, squeezing his hand. It's an adventure, and we're the team. The kids rushed back, tugging at them to join in a game of tag. You're it, Dad. Emma laughed, her eyes sparkling. Tom took off after them, laughter bubbling from his chest. The game felt both simple and profound, reminding him of the pure joys in life. But as he chased them, something inside him twisted. The thrill of the chase no longer felt innocent. What if he couldn't live up to his dreams? What if he made the wrong choice and everything they cherished turned upside down? Later, as the sun dipped lower, the vibrant shades of orange stretched across the sky. Tom leaned against the swing set, catching his breath. Sarah stood nearby, her arms crossed, a quizzical look in her eyes. Tom, she said slowly. You've been distant today. What is really bothering you? He met her gaze, the weight of his thoughts now fully apparent. This decision, I feel like it's so much bigger than just me. It's about us. Our family. I don't want to risk what we have. Her expression softened, and she crossed to his side, enveloping him in her warmth. You're scared of what lies ahead. It's okay to feel that way. Change is scary. But we face challenges before together. Sharing this dream with you feels like the greatest risk I'll ever take, he admitted, honesty raw in his voice. And yet, walking away feels like losing a part of myself. They stood in silence, lost in thought until Lucas shouted, "Dad! You are just standing there. Come on." The joyous call pulled them back. As he joined the kids again, his heart raced not just from running but from the realization that the love he felt was worth the risk. Somehow, they would navigate the unknown together. But just as laughter filled the air, a shadow crept across Tom's mind. He glanced over at Sarah, her expression caught between concern and warmth. What would she think if she knew the whole truth? Did she really understand the stakes of this leap he was contemplating? As twilight descended, Tom felt the edges of his secret begin to sharpen. How long could he hold on to it? And what if revealing it could change everything they were building together? The warmth of the sunset cast long shadows across the park, and as the cool evening air began to wrap around them, Tom felt a knot tightening in his stomach. With each laugh that escaped Emma and Lucas, he remembered the choice looming ahead, the secret wrapped around his thoughts like a heavy blanket. "Tom." Sarah called again, this time with a hint of urgency. He turned to see her standing near the swings, her brow furrowed. "Can you help me with Kelly's bike? It looks like she might need a hand." His heart sank at the reminder of all the little things that made up their lives. He nodded quickly and jogged over. The sight of their neighbor's daughter struggling with her training wheels brought a smile to his face, but as he crouched to adjust the seat, a wave of doubt crashed over him. Would he still be around for these moments if he chose the path ahead? "Dad, you are amazing." Emma cheered as she hopped off the swing, eager to help. "Can I try? I know how to balance." "Sure thing, champ." Tom encouraged, trying to shake off his anxieties. As he watched Emma attempt to hold the bike upright, his chest swelled with pride. It seemed surreal that these moments could be threatened by a single decision. The sun sank lower, painting the sky a deeper hue of orange and pink. The world felt beautiful yet fragile, and he suddenly feared what might happen when the light faded. Would it take everything with it? "Here we go," Tom said, steadying the bike for Emma. "Just remember, lean into it. You got this." When she started pedaling, laughter erupted from her. Tom felt his heart thumping in rhythm with her excitement, but the joy only provided a temporary release. As he looked up to see Sarah watching with a proud smile, a pulse of guilt hit him. She deserved so much more than a half-truth, yet telling her felt like stepping off a cliff. As the sun slipped behind the trees, Tom caught Sarah's eye. She tilted her head, brushing a lock of hair behind her ear, and he felt a rush of warmth. She was his partner, his teammate, but would she still be if she knew? "I'm just going to grab us some water," he said abruptly, searching for an excuse to escape. He needed a moment, a breath to think without any distractions. "Okay, I'll help Kelly," Sarah replied, still focused on their neighbor's bike. Tom turned towards the park's little kiosk, each step heavy with uncertainty. As he filled 2 cups with cool water, he noticed a couple sitting together nearby, whispering and laughing softly. They exchanged secret smiles, and for a brief moment, Tom felt envy swirl in his gut. Their laughter seemed to echo a connection he feared losing, the shared dreams, hopes, and plans. "Tom." Sarah's voice pulled him from his thoughts, her warm tone breaking through the veil of doubt. "Let's take a picture. Come on. It's a perfect day." He walked back, a strained smile plastered on his face. Their kids posed happily, radiating joy, as Sarah motioned him over. But as he stood there, he felt hollow inside. What would the picture look like if he shared the truth? Would it even matter? "On 3. Sarah called out, her smile infectious. 1, 2. He hesitated, feeling the weight of the secret that could change everything. 3. The camera clicked. Laughter erupted, but a single thought consumed him: could this happiness slip through his fingers if he made the wrong move? As the evening closed in, the shadows deepened around them, and Tom clasped his hands tightly, eyes flickering to Sarah, whose expression masked her own thoughts. What if he had to choose between the life they built and the dreams that haunted him? Tom, Sarah asked softly, stepping toward him. What is really going on? His breath caught. In that moment, he knew he had to confront his silence. What would he say? Would it be another secret kept locked away, or would he finally set them free? The laughter from the children faded into the background, replaced by the thudding of Tom's heart in his ears. He didn't want to drown in the weight of the secret any longer, yet finding the right words felt insurmountable. Tom. Sarah's voice cut through the haze, concern etching deeper lines into her brow. The warm light of the setting sun framed her perfectly, as if it was urging him to speak. The shadows danced around them, and all he could see was her, his partner, his anchor. It's complicated, he finally managed, words tumbling out like loose stones. Complicated? She stepped closer, her eyes searching his. Tom, you've been distant lately. Is it work? Is it something with the kids? Please, just tell me. He considered the sunset again. The colors were so vibrant, but it was fading, just like his resolve. He grasped the cups tightly, yet the coolness of the water felt distant. Did she deserve to be burdened with this knowledge? Or was it unfair to keep it from her? The weight of silence hung between them like a chasm. He wished he could take a breath and plunge into the depths of his truth without fear. Instead, he stood there, caught in the tide of indecision, watching her confidence slip into worry. It's about me. About us. His voice faltered. It's about a choice I have to make. And I don't know what it will mean for our family. Choice. Sarah's eyes widened, a mixture of worry and determination swirling in her gaze. What kind of choice? Tom opened his mouth, but no words came. Instead, he saw Emma and the neighbor's daughter, Kelly, giggling as they zoomed past on their bicycles. Their carefree joy pierced straight through his fears, giving him a flicker of resolve. If I don't take this chance, I might regret it for the rest of my life. Then take it. She burst out, her voice fierce, yet laced with confusion. But what does that mean for us? Why had he not prepared for this part? The outcome of his confession, the potential pain in her eyes. It might mean changes. It might mean he trailed off, feeling the ground shift beneath him. It could affect everything. The air turned thick, the moment stretching under the weight of unspoken realities. Tom, you are scaring me. I know. And I wish. His voice cracked. I wish I could promise you it would be okay, but I can't guarantee that. Just tell me, she urged, stepping back as if the revelation might hit her like a wave. Please, just tell me what it is. He studied the children again, their laughter lifting him momentarily out of his turmoil. If only honesty could do the same. I was offered a job, a chance, really to follow my passion, something I've dreamed about for years. But it means we might have to relocate, away from everything we've built here. Silence hung like a pall around them. For every possibility he pictured in his mind, he also imagined the ache it could create. The life they had forged. Would it be worth it? And it's not just a job, is it? She whispered, hurting etched on her features. It's your dream, isn't it? Her understanding broke through his defenses. Each revelation opened a small, painful window into the future. The tears in her eyes made his heart ache. I need you to know that this isn't about leaving you behind. It's about finding something within myself. Within yourself, she echoed, and the disappointment rang in her tone. And what if that means leaving us behind? He gripped the cups tightly, fighting the unsettling truth. This was just the beginning, but it felt monumental all the same. Tom inhaled deeply, feeling the weight of their crossroads. He knew they stood at the edge of something big, some change that could ripple through their lives forever. "What do we do now?" he asked, the question trembling in the dim light. Sarah looked away, lost in a swirl of confusion and hurt. They were on the brink, and though Tom felt the echo of hope mixed with dread, he couldn't help but wonder, would their love survive this latest storm? As dusk settled in, a single thought filled the air: this choice wasn't just his anymore, it belonged to both of them. "Tom," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "We need to figure this out." And just like that, the real conversation, the one they both needed to have, was about to begin. Could they navigate this labyrinth together, or would the truth fracture everything they held dear? The shadows around them deepened, and for a moment, Tom felt like they were encased in their own little world. But that sense of isolation shattered when Sarah turned to him. Her voice, taut with emotion, cut through the air. "How do we even begin?" He took a step closer, desperate to bridge the gap forming between them. "We start by talking. I want you to understand why this means so much to me." "But why now?" She clenched her fists, grounding herself as if fighting against a tide of unbearable emotion. "This is all happening so fast. One day, we are fine," and then her words faltered, the truth weighing them both down. "Because I've been cowardly," he admitted, his voice thickening. "I've lived with this secret and let it fester." Sarah shook her head, as if denying the truth that lay heavy between them. "I would rather heard your struggle than feel this kind of betrayal, like you've been hiding this from me." His heart broke at the thought. "I thought I was protecting you, protecting us. I didn't want to hurt you with my dreams, my aspirations, my uncertainties." Emma's giggles echoed faintly nearby, a reminder of their life, their family. He felt himself drawn into that world, the warmth of it suffocating and intoxicating all at once. How could he choose between that warmth and what felt like a kaleidoscope of possibility? "But isn't that what love is about?" Sarah's voice softened, full of an ache he recognized all too well. "Supporting each other's dreams. You think I wouldn't have stood by you if you had unfolded this before? We could faced it together." He longed to reach out and comfort her, but was afraid of her barricade. "You're right," he confessed, the weight of his self-imposed barriers crashing down. "It's just that," he paused. "I was afraid of risking everything." As the warm breeze began to cool, Tom could see the fight within Sarah dissolving into hurt. "Is it really worth it then? Leaving everything we know, everything we fought for? A new place, a new job, what about the girls? What about us?" The idea of uprooting their entire lives clenched his stomach. But deep down, he felt this relentless pull, a whisper of possibility that made his heart race. "I can't explain it, but what if this is a chance for me to contribute something meaningful, not just to me but for us? For our family?" Holding back tears, she bit her lip. "And what if it isn't?" The honesty hit him like a brick. He feared this leap of faith might tear them apart, yet he struggled to find the words. "This job could lead to something more, Sarah. Something that could change everything for us." Sarah seemed to soften at that, her eyes glistening in the fading light. "You can't be sure. We could lose everything we built here." "I know." Doubt clawed at him, twisting his insides into knots. "But what if that's just fear talking? What if we can reshape everything together?" His voice quivered at the end, desperation leaking through. "No more secrets, please," she murmured, her eyes on him, pleading. "Can we actually face this together?" he asked, feeling hope kindle in the silence. As she considered him, the world seemed to constrict around them even more. I don't know, Tom. I really don't, she finally said, and the words stung like a slap. The hesitation loomed, thickening the air. He could feel the crossroads beneath them, no easy direction forward. But even as doubt encased them, he felt a flicker of courage bloom. Let us talk to the girls about the possibilities, explain what is happening. Maybe we take it one step at a time. Sarah's gaze shifted back to the fading sun. Maybe, she whispered, uncertainty threading her voice. As darkness settled, it felt like they were stepping into unknown territory. The future was wide open and yet fraught with potential dangers just lurking in the shadows. Tom looked at her, gauging the tremor of hope that danced in the air. If we walk through this together, can we promise one thing? What is that? She asked, tears threatening to spill. No shutting each other out again. We face every change head on together. Sarah nodded, a silent agreement. Forged in the dim light. In that moment, they had opened the door to possibility. What lay beyond? Would it lead them toward healing or deeper fractures? The night air buzzed around them, swarming with unanswered questions. A journey was beginning that neither of them had asked for. But they were ready, weren't they? Let us figure this out, Tom, she said finally, determination igniting anew. As they stepped closer to the looming uncertainty, he grasped her hand firmly, feeling both unimaginable fear and immeasurable hope. What if it leads to everything we've ever wanted? What if it reshapes our whole family? But in that breath of hope lingered a deeper question. They weren't just facing a choice. They were teetering on the brink of transformation. Could they withstand the waves about to crash over them? And as the darkness surrounded them, holding their intertwined hands firmly, they stepped into the unknown, hearts racing with the thrill of what was to come. The chilly morning air kissed Tom's cheeks as he faced what lay ahead, an open door, waiting for him to step through. He stood at the edge of their front porch, the world around them buzzing with possibility. The weight of the conversation from the night before loomed large, but now he felt determination swirling within him, mixing with the fear that had haunted him for days. Sarah stood beside him, her hand in his, a silent promise that they would face this together. Are you ready? She asked softly, her gaze steady as she searched his eyes. Tom glanced down at their kids, who were bundled up in their jackets, shuffling their feet and giggling as they waited. The sunlight peeked through the trees, bathing their yard in a warm glow. Despite the chaos that loomed ahead, that moment felt perfect. This action, as simple as stepping outside, felt monumental, like a small yet courageous step toward uncharted territory. I think so, he replied, inhale shaky yet steady. I really want to do this for us. Their breaths mingled in the crisp air, and for a moment, everything felt right. He knew the risks, he knew the stakes. But he also felt the thrumming pulse of hope, ripe with visions of what could be. As they walked toward their car, Tom could hardly contain the butterflies in his stomach. They were filled with anticipation, anxiety, and a tinge of excitement. He was reminded of their journey, a tapestry of struggle, resilience, laughter, and love. Tom opened the car door with a momentary pause. It was time to face Mark and the possibility that could change everything. Sarah climbed in beside him, ever faithful, and the children jumped in the back, chattering about their day. The familiar hum of the car started, and as they pulled away from the curb, the world outside blurred like a painting in motion. On the way to meet Mark, uncertainty danced between them, a silent tension woven into their conversations. What do you think he'll say? Sarah asked, her voice attempting to mask the tremble of worry. I'm not sure, Tom replied, feeling his pulse quicken. But I have to be honest. I need to be. The impression weighed on him, the same burden he'd carried for too long. If he wanted Sarah to trust him again, he needed to lay everything out on the table, no more secrets. When they arrived at the cafe, Tom's stomach compounded knots of anticipation. As they stepped inside, the bustling atmosphere faced them, coffee brewed thick, the chatter of patrons creating an almost symphonic harmony. "Stay close," he murmured to the kids, spotting Mark at a small table in the corner. His old friend's eyes lit up as he waved them over. "Tom. Glad you could make it." Mark's enthusiasm felt like a warm blanket, but Tom felt the nerves twist under the surface. "Thanks for meeting with me," he said as they settled into chairs, eyeing Sarah's reassuring smile. "Of course. So, let's talk about this project," Mark began, diving right in. As the conversation flowed, talking logistics and excitement, Tom's voice thickened with nervous energy. Sarah's hand gently brushed against his, grounding him, like the calm in the midst of a storm. "Listen, Tom," Mark said, his tone dropping slightly, "I wouldn't have brought you into this if I didn't believe you could contribute significantly. Your skills are exactly what we need." Tom felt a rush of gratitude but also fear. What if he accepted and everything spiraled out of control? What would that mean for his family? Still, Sarah's unwavering confidence bolstered him. "I appreciate the chance, Mark," Tom managed, setting the course for his intention. "But I can't make this decision without including my family. It's not just about me anymore." Mark nodded, impressed. "Respect that. A family is something you never take for granted." Tom could feel the shift in their dynamic. No longer was this merely a conversation about a job or career path. It was about their future, the heartbeat of their family resonating deeply within the room. Later, as they walked back to the car, Sarah's arm linked with his. "You handled that really well," she said, her eyes bright with pride. "I'm so proud of you." "And I wouldn't have been able to do it without you," he replied, his voice steady. When they loaded the kids back into their seats, the laughter and chatter surrounded him, filling the air with joyous noise. Hope flickered in him again, lighting a path toward what could be. "I can't promise you what comes next, but I will promise you this: you won't face it alone. We'll take each step together," he declared, looking into Sarah's eyes. The sun shone through the windshield, hitting them with warmth and brightness. It was more than just a beautiful day. It was a reminder of every struggle they had faced, every moment that had led them here. As they drove home, the distance between what was now and what could be shrank. The hills rolled past, and Tom made a vow in his heart he would fight to ensure this leap was for the good of them all. With Sarah by his side, they transformed their fears into a tapestry of dreams. This was their journey, a shared adventure sculpted by faith, love, and resilience. Embracing the unknown, they weren't just stepping into something new, they were creating a life intertwined with hope. With laughter still echoing in his mind, Tom felt the web of dreams tightening, felt the surge of purpose move through him. Today was just the beginning. And together, they'd write the next chapter. As Tom turned the final corner toward home, one feeling flooded him. Unmistakable relief, a renewed sense of purpose, and a realization the future was bright. They had faced the unknown before, and they could do it again. Because in the end, love was the most potent force of all. So, what would you do, dear viewer? Choose to stay in your comfort zone, or leap into the waiting arms of possibility? Now is the time to embrace it. Subscribe immediately to the channel, don't miss the next exclusive stories that inspire and uplift. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about this incredible transformation. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this journey. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.